Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the latest chapter of Ars Magica, taken from the subreddit HFY. All the relevant links are down below, and please like, comment, and subscribe like any good minion of the algorithm would do. And as always, I hope that you enjoy. I would just like to thank the following Tier 5 patrons and channel members for supporting the channel: Fallen Angel, Buzz Kennington, Data Magnet, and Bob the Dragon. Thank you again. And now, on to the story. Chapter 8. God damn it, why do I always have to wake up in pain nowadays? Frick! Thank God I didn't die after I passed out from blood loss. Why aren't I dead anyways? Last I looked, I was bleeding from a stump that used to be my knee. I opened my eyes, looking up at the sky above, noticing the orange tint of dawn still lingering in the east. I looked around to find Stein gone. Well, that's okay, I guess. Probably went off to go hunt or something. I don't see any tracks, though. Wonder where he could have, oh. So I have a question. Several, actually. First, how the hell do I have a glowing, transparent leg? Pretty sure I never tried to make that happen on purpose. Then again, it explains why I was able to somewhat walk before. I mean, I guess it makes sense that it's there. I'm pretty sure that the creature tore my leg right off from the first hit. Then I was all focused on my mana pool and figuring out the spell to kill the creature. When I stumbled over to try and save Stein, it never even occurred to me to ask how I could get over there if I only had one leg. But how is it there? Why is it there? Second, why can I move my hand through my leg? I mean, my arm just passes right through it. It feels a bit cold. But other than that, nothing is happening to my arm or the glowing leg. Third, how does it work? I'm pretty sure it's magic, but I don't think it's casting any spells to do this. Wait, maybe there's something in the logs. I'm pretty sure I ignored them while the fight was happening. So let me pull up the log, maybe that'll help. History, 8 hours ago. Congratulations on purposely breaking your soul's membrane and accessing your magic for the first time. You've earned +5 int and the ability Mana Manipulation. For reaching level 10 in meditation, you have been given the choice of advancing skill or choosing another related one. For use in Magic Spear without knowing the spell, you've earned +1 int and +1 whiz and the spell Magic Spear. For gaining int of 50, you earn the ability Dual Thinking. For killing a named superior beast, Grendel, you've earned 10 levels, +5 strength, +5 con, +1 luck. For feeding, healing, and fighting with an animal companion, you've earned the skill Animal Companionship. For gaining a constitution of 25, you have earned the ability Passive Regeneration. Combination found between affinity, life, and ability Passive Regeneration. New ability formed, Physical Resistance. New spell formed, Growth. For using Regenerate without knowing the spell, you have earned +1 int and +1 whiz, and the spell Regenerate. Morning, newcomer effect ending in 1 day. 23 hours, 30 minutes. 23 hours, 22 hours, 21 hours, 20. 19 hours, 35 minutes. 19 hours, 34 minutes and 48 seconds. 19 hours, 34 minutes, and 47 seconds. Okay, so a lot of things happened that fight. Jesus, just look, a lot of skills, just too many right now. Nothing here seems to be responsible for the leg, unless it's magic manipulation. But I'm not actively doing anything right now. Wait, observe! Magical prosthesis. Not too many people can claim to have made one of these. As knowledge of the intricacies of the limb it is meant to replace, as well as the constant activation of magic manipulation, is required for the limb to remain present. This was made in part by your knowledge of anatomy, combined with the inherent ability Dual Thinking. Wait, how? I'm not really thinking about that right now. How is the ability I got doing that, when I can't even tell you to use the ability in the first place? God, I don't want to think about this anymore. Worrying has been all I've been doing lately. I need to relax or calm down or something. Sighing, I pulled my mind back from the anxiety and focus around me. Where Steinway had lain was the remains of a pool of blood. Well, it would have been a pool of blood if it had not soaked into the ground. There was a train leading away, but it didn't go very far. I think he's okay. Don't really know if that spell, I guess, could heal the bones or not, but at least he's no longer bleeding out. I looked over to the Grendel to find that its corpse is half eaten. Oh, at least Stein had a lunch, and the fire's out. Great. I mean, I could get more wood, but it's kind of warm right now, so I don't see much of a point. Although, my stomach did just growl. Yes, that means it's Grendel's steak for lunch. Gotta get up and gotta get more firewood then. I started to get up before I realized it. Maybe I should be slow with my magic leg. Don't really know what kind of force it could take. Oh, that's weird. How does that work? I only really expected my regeneration just to close off the leg into a stump, but it looks like the flesh is slowly filling in, downward from the knee through the magic leg. Huh. Well, I guess that's good. Judging from the MP usage alone, I'd have used it all up in a couple hours trying to maintain this. Probably would get longer if I leveled up meditation more. But what would be the point? I also noticed something weird about my HP. While it did level, I get the appropriate points. Something seemed off about my health. Usually, I'd have my level times my con, but a 49 times 25 does not equal 1020. Is it because I've lost a leg? Either way, it seems to be slowly going up because it just got one more for some reason. Wait, I just realized something. I might not even need to walk to get firewood. According to the log, I got a skill called growth. Can I just grow a tree that could be easier to turn into firewood? Let me look at the spell. Okay. So it looks like there's a bunch of good news. The spell doesn't cost any MP due to my affinity, and that means that it won't detract from my MP going to my leg, which is nice. The description, though, only says that it grows plants. It doesn't say that it has a set range to it, though. It's vague about how far it can go, which is weird. Guess the only way I can do it is to try it out. I try out a stance. I don't really know if I have to pour my MP into it, if it can activate by itself. Growth! Nothing's happening. That was, kind of disappointing, really. I wouldn't really like to be a druid in real life, but being a poison ivy type can be cool. Am I just, doing it wrong? Could it be that I need to set a target? Oh crap! I forgot. I have to help function, don't I? Help growth. Spell growth. Type multi-target. 1 bigger than equal to X, smaller than equal to 500. Wow, that's a lot of things I could do, so I have to manually target something for it to work. How do I target? Might as well do it again. Help target. Targeting. To target something, one must first specify to the system what object entity that they want to include for the effect to occur. That did not help at all. Didn't even say how I should target some... Wait. Maybe it did. Let me just check something real quick. Looking around, I try and find something that I could use it on. Sure, there were magical plants from earlier, but I don't really want to make something bigger that can already flash freeze/fry an insect. That's asking for trouble. Best just to stick with the sapling or something. Thankfully, there was some on the edge of the clearing. Now, let's try this. Growth! Sapling. The little sprout starts to shake a bit before I can see a visible growth. It was kind of like that time-lapse video where you see the tree grow, except there was on fast forward. I could see the stem of the sapling grow bark, and the leaves growing alongside begin to become branches. Leaves grew wider, and the sapling shot up about a bit of my height, before stopping altogether. All this happened in a span of about 2 seconds. So, I was glad I didn't blink. Otherwise I wouldn't be able to tell. I'm a bit confused as to why it isn't still growing, but then I think I know the reason. The sapling isn't a sapling anymore. It changed so much that it couldn't be targeted by the effect, so it just cancelled. At least, I think that's how it is. Maybe growth just has a spell effect that only lasts that long. I need to test it on something that takes a while to grow, even with growth. Further tests with growth on the other saplings around the clearing revealed a lot about how the spell worked. If I used the wrong name when identifying something, it didn't work. I could control the speed of the plant growth. If I used the plural, all available saplings near me grew at the same time, but at a reduced rate. I also noticed that if I said tree, I could further the growth of what used to be a sapling to something that I'd call an elder. It was taller than the other trees, about another tree taller than the others, and its branches overshadowed the rest of the trees. Its barks turned a bit green, and the leaves had a heavy glossy shine to them. I really wanted to test how far it could go, but once I tried growth on an elder, it didn't seem to take effect. Or if it did, it was at a reduced rate. You know, experimenting was a nice distraction. I don't think about how alone I was. I didn't worry about my potential demise, and I stopped thinking about the crawling sensation around my stump. Oh God, just thought about it. Oh, quick, think of something else. Yes, civilization. I got a quest a while ago to get there, and then I'd be able to talk to people, apparently. I mean, I remembered it, but how do I find it? I could try find a river. I have to put off trying to find a source of water, hoping for rain. But drinking the juices of leftovers can only do so much. Maybe that's where Stein went. No, he left. If he didn't want to stay behind, then that's his prerogative. Right now, I gotta focus on me. First order of business, food. Before that though, I need to get some firewood. So, using growth, I managed to grow some saplings until they seemed to be about the right size. Thankfully, I can fully stop the effect when I want to. Otherwise, I'd probably have to figure out the right word just to have them grow to the right height or something. I managed to break the branches into pieces before throwing them into the campfire. Sure, I'd have to start the fire again, but this saved a lot of time. Having done that, I guess the next step would be to head over to where I had planned on sleeping, as that's where I put most of the tools that I had made, basically the bowstring and the starting stand. I started the fire again using some of the branches that I'd grown. After I was able to get started, and kept it, I headed back towards the tool area and grabbed the one thing that I was missing. I grabbed the rock that I'd sharpened to cut those mindbreakers earlier, and started to work on butchering a piece of the grendel. The grendel's flesh is kinda tough to cut, my rock barely doing anything to get through the skin. Luckily, Stein already tore a big chunk out of it, so I just have to have some choice bits of meat from the area. Wait, did the poison mushrooms infect the meat? It probably wouldn't affect me, but did Stein get it? Is that why he left? Crap! No, don't worry about him. Worry about yourself. Just focus on the meat. Focus on the smell of smoke. Focus on the taste of getting into your... Oh God, it tastes horrible. It's like I don't even know right now. It just feels like I'm eating I got into the intestines, didn't I? Crap! Literally. Well, I have a bunch of things that I could do today, but finding water and getting the taste out of my mouth is right near the top of the list. The first thing on my list really had to be getting myself some goddamn clothes. Now, I would like that, because everything is just uncomfortable right now without them. I get hot and cold too easily now. I wish I had pants. I could really try fashion myself something out of all the wildlife around here, but I don't think I'd be too good at doing that. I could try and tan the grendel hide. I remember that you have to dry the skin for a bit before trying to use anything like leather working, which I don't even know how to do. However, I don't think that I could cut it into smaller pieces without the proper tools. So, although that's the first priority on my list of things to get done, I guess I'll have to table it for now. The second thing I could do is find a water source. There might be a lake, stream, or river nearby. That also might be where Stein left to go. Maybe I could track him with survival instincts. Nah, doesn't seem like that's part of its wheelhouse. It's probably more or less a danger sense, or something. I don't know. Maybe I should just try and find water. That seems to be more, urgent requirement. Maybe I could find Stein too. He was able to rip through the skin of the Grendel, so, maybe if I get him back, he could help me make clothes. Yeah, just, order things out, step by step. It can be manageable. So, I guess I just have to pick a direction. Good old Stick can do that for me. Won't you, Mr. Stick? Wait, no. Stop. When you humanize objects, no, just no. I picked up the stick, put it in its end, and let it go. It fell to the ground, pointing away from the cave, kind of in the direction of the twilight rose from earlier. Huh. Should I be worried? Nah. No, just a coincidence, so, setting myself to wander in that direction, I activate Observe to see if I can catch anything interesting or important. Nothing seems to be catching my eye, though. I thought maybe I could find another cool flower or magical plant or something. You kind of expect more of it when you went in the same direction, right? For reaching level 10 in Observe, you have been given the choice to advance the skill or choose another related one. Oh yeah, that was kind of something that happened during the fight too, wasn't it? I also have to think about that too, don't I? Wait. Maybe, help, advance. Advance! Within the Panopticon, the term advance can mean one of three things. The first is the advancement of skills. The second is advancement of spells. The third and final one is the advancement of classes. To better illustrate what occurs between these three options, Keen Eyes has reached level 10. It may be advanced to become Eagle Eyes. The spell Spark has reached level 10. It may be advanced to Burning Hands. The class Tailor has reached level 25. It may be advanced to Expert Tailor. So, if I choose an advanced Observe and Meditation, I could get better skills. I assume that they start at level 1 though. However, if I keep them and I can get some of the skills to them anyway, it kinda sucks that the advancement does with spells. Unless it's not saying something here. Knowing the system, it probably won't unless I find the right keyword or something. I've got nothing better to do except try it. With how the newcomer is looking, I might not be getting any new skills after the effect goes away. Now that I think about it, why is it an effect? I mean, I get why I have it, but why is it an effect? What is causing me to have the effect? Shouldn't there be something? I know, in other games, constant effects are usually caused by titles or something. Shouldn't there be something like that in the system? Congratulations for finding out the existence of the hidden function without consulting other people. For that, you have received +2 Wiz, +2 Int, and the privilege of viewing the hidden function. You can view the current titles within your stats. Titles: Newcomer, Sinner, Survivalist. Alright, do I just say titles, or is it just my stats? It's in my stats under my classes. Apparently I have 3. I understand 2 of them, and the cause and the effects that I get, but the third one doesn't really seem to do anything. It's just called Survivalist, and I don't really remember receiving a message saying that I earned it or anything. Help, Survivalist. Warning, help function does not work when inquiring about the purpose of titles. If you want more information regarding titles, please consult your local... No help there, huh? Shame. Thought that this would help with everything, with how it's been working. Thought that it'd at least get some history when I got it, or at least a description on what it actually does. I guess I'll just start walking. I'll tell you what though, if I wasn't lost, alone, and trying to stay alive, this would be a nice nature walk. The sunlight is streaking in through the branches above my head. I can hear the faint chitter of some of the squirrels and some weird equivalent. Birds are chirping overhead, singing their songs of territorial disputes, or maybe mating calls. Who's to say? The thing that I noticed, though, is that the bugs are more prevalent than I thought that they'd be, which is a problem, considering I'm basically naked. I don't really want to be more of a wild man than I already am. I'm already not doing myself any favors walking around with nothing but a leafy loincloth. So, with a bit of hesitation, I push on, although a bit faster than before. Sure, there were still sights to see and sounds to listen to, but I just swept past it all, activating sharp hearing and listening only for sources of water. Eventually, the sounds of the forest started to fade out as I focused in on one specific sound, the trickling of the river. Quickening my pace, I ran through the trees, hoping to get some liquid in me, noticing only how parched I'd been. As I ran, I remembered that, supposedly, a man can only survive without water for 3 days, although, by my count, it had been a little longer than that. Perhaps I'd gotten some moisture from the food that I'd eaten. After a couple trees, I could see it, the river. It was probably the widest river that I'd seen in my life, but it was also pretty shallow. It was probably 4 to 5 meters wide, while it only went down about 1.5 meters. I could see dozens of rocks underneath it, as well as some small fish that darted about, hither and thither. The bank didn't really have a sand or dirt. It was just more rocks surrounding the river. I immediately dived forward, scraping my hands on some of the rocks near the edge of the river, as I began to drink in greedily. Sure, it's not clean. It's probably full of bacteria, but it was clear. I had no container, and I probably could survive it. After all, if I could survive something that literally caused my bones and organs to decay, I could survive getting a bit of dysentery. As the cold, crisp water washed down my throat and got rid of the unmentionable taste that shan't be discussed, I almost upchucked it, but I managed to swallow it down. After that, I just slowly sipped it from my hands. But then I noticed something a bit further upstream. It wasn't a normal animal, to say the least. Well, if anything can be called normal here. Whatever it was big though. Half of its body went across the river, while mine could barely make it to the 8th across. Its body was covered in a shaggy fur, but it wasn't, I don't think it was fur. It more looked like, plants? Yeah. Kind of looked like a bunch of little leaves and grass just growing off the main body. Its legs looked a bit like dogs coming off of the main body, while it had a tail that looked more akin to a sort of ivy than a solid structure. I pulled my gaze up towards the head, which was still drinking. Its head. How do I explain what I'm looking at? Its ears weren't really ears. They looked more like knots that you'd find sometimes on a log, with its head being covered in the same grass leaf stuff, while also somehow looking like bark in places where the grass didn't cover. Like its eyes. Crap. I'm staring directly into its eyes. End of chapter. And that, my friends, concludes this video. I hope that you enjoyed, and if you do, please consider supporting the author, even by popping over and leaving a thumbs up or a nice comment, just to show your appreciation for the story. However, if you wish to support this channel, there are links down below which will help immensely. I will see you all in the next one, and until then, I hope that you have a fantastic day. Cheers.